Welcome back. We're continuing our study in Deuteronomy chapter 30. We just got into the first like maybe three verses because of how powerful they was. And let's continue from that point, starting in verse 1, just reviewing very quickly what we did in our last session, because we called Deuteronomy chapter 30 where the light bulb goes off. Where the light bulb goes off. In other words, where people are awakening to who they are and where they're going. And that was Deuteronomy chapter 30. And we started with the first three verses. And it shall come to pass, when all these things are come upon thee, the blessing and the curse which I have set before thee, and thou shalt call them to mind among all the nations, whither Yahweh thy most high have driven thee. And thou shalt return unto Yahweh thy most high, and shalt obey his voice, according to all that I command thee this day, thou and thy children, with all thy heart and with all thy soul, that then Yahweh thy most high will turn thy captivity and have compassion upon thee, and will return and gather thee from all the nations whither Yahweh thy most high have scattered thee. So the promise of the Heavenly Father, and this is accomplished through the return of Messiah, is to gather his people together. And that promise is because at this point, right before the kingdom is to be reestablished under the auspices of the Hebrew Israelite Messiah, because of that, we are at this point scattered. We are a scattered nation. So that, let's break that down a little further, the chosen people of the Most High, of the bloodline of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, are in different places of the earth. We're not in one place. Whereas earlier in our existence as a nation, when we were in Africa, in the land that the Greeks called Egypt, but the father originally called Mizraim, when we were there, we were all in one place for the most part. So that when the Israelites were delivered from Egypt, it was a nation that was in one place being delivered through the wilderness into another place. But this time, all of us are scattered into different parts of the earth. The Hebrews are scattered everywhere. North, south, east, and west, northern hemisphere, southern hemisphere, everywhere we are scattered. And everywhere that we are scattered in, we're in our enemy's land. We're not in friendly territory. Some are friendlier than others, but for the most part, it's not our land. Either A, it's a land that's colonized. You see, when you're colonized, brethren, the people that did the colonization result is that they have you on automatic lock. Like they don't have to be there and you're under control because you're colonized. See? So if France has Mali colonized, they don't have to be there. They can handle everything from Paris. They don't have to be in Africa, and they can control Mali. Same with Cote d'Ivoire, same with Cameroon, same with any place, Haiti, where they have colonization. Same with the Spanish. The Spanish don't have to be in Colombia or Venezuela or Peru. They colonized, so they're under the Spanish colonial system. And they don't have to be there to keep them under control. See, same with the British, same thing. With the Portuguese, same thing. With the Dutch, same thing. So once people are colonized, that is, they are fully indoctrinated into the government and culture of the captors. The captors already won. Okay? and say in the United States of America. A lot of people go to other countries and come back to America. Why? Because you are used to the American culture. And if you're in another culture that's not the American culture, you're not comfortable. Okay? That's you're colonized. I mean, you're not comfortable in somewhere because they have trained you to only accept the culture they trained you in. Okay? That's your culture. That's what you're raised in. Well, every place that we are in, as the Hebrews, we are colonized. And the reason it's so easy to colonize us is because it has been so long since we have been scattered off of the original land we were on. So you're talking about, okay, basically the Bible is in terms of timeline. So it was about 2,000 years between the creation of Adam and the flood. It was about 2,000 years between the creation of Adam and the flood. Okay. It was 480 years from leaving Egypt to Solomon. Almost 500 years from leaving Egypt, from being delivered from Egypt to the kingdom under Solomon. The Israelite kingdom, the nation of Israel, well, first the northern tribes were scattered in around, and I'm giving the general, around 700 years before the Messiah. 7 something BC, they were scattered. Okay, about 700 years before Messiah, they were scattered. But the southern kingdom lasted for over 1,200 years. Okay, the southern kingdom lasted for over 1,200 years, and we were scattered from the southern kingdom when the last destruction of Jerusalem happened and the last temple was destroyed. The second temple of Solomon, of the returning Hebrews, that was destroyed in 70 AD. So from 70 AD to now, we have been in other people's lands. So if you're talking about right now, this year where we're at, we're talking about we have been in other people's lands for 1,985 years. Right? Am I right about that? 1,000, is my math off? 1,955 years. That's right. So we have been in other people's lands for 1,900. That's right. Okay. 1,955 years. We've been in other people's lands. And over that 1,955 years, we have been introduced to other people's religions, other people's gods, other people's cultures, and we've been colonized into the lands of our enemies, especially the lands of those enemies that have taken us by chains and enslaved us in their land. And so all of those places we have been colonized. And so because of that, that's a brainwashing that is on automatic pilot. They got your brain, they got your mind, you're raised in their culture, you're part of them. And like I said, it doesn't matter which colonists did it. It could have been the colonies from the Anglo-Saxons, the French, the Portuguese, the Spaniards, the Dutch, all of those Christian countries colonized Hebrews. Okay, so we've been colonized by all of these countries. So some of them remain in the country they colonized. Like, in other words, they got a presence in the countries. Like in the United States, obviously we've been colonized in the United States. This is the capital. This is where the colonizers live. This is here where they are. So this is where we are. In the UK, the colonizers are in the UK. They live in the UK, and all of the Hebrews in the UK are part of the colonization. Now, but Jamaica is also colonized, but you don't see a lot of UK leaders in Jamaica. They don't need to be there. Jamaica's colonized. Okay, Ghana's colonized. They don't need to do it. They don't need to be there. They already got you. Got you right here. Right? They got you. They don't got to be in synagogue. The French don't have to they don't have to hang out. The only time the French will come to synagogue is on holiday, if they need to. That's it. Because they got them right here. Okay? Brazil, the colonizers from Portugal are still there. So they're still there. But in every place, it's the colonization of the Hebrews have taken place in all our enemies' lands. Okay? All our enemies' lands have been colonized. In Haiti, they speak French, and they're still getting beaten because of the victory they got over the French and Napoleon back in the 19th century. You think that that's over for them? That's the thing. They don't forgive and they don't forget. They will keep destroying Haiti until they completely annihilate everybody there. That's what they want to do. The Father has other plans, but that's what they want to do. Okay? That's what they want to do. And it's all because Haiti had the nerve to kick them off that land and send the French packing. And so all the Europeans have banded together, especially in the United States with France, to punish Haiti. To punish Haiti. Okay? So that's going to continue until the Messiah comes. Now, or they take it over and make it into a giant golf course and resort, which they tend to do also, as Puerto Rico. So we are scattered and colonized into our enemies' lands. When we return, as we just read, when we awaken and return to the Father, as is happening right now, the chains of colonization are broken. It's like, you know, and I know, as Hebrews, you can look at your generation. Let me ask you all a question. Y'all want to make sure y'all can hear me. Okay? Y'all can hear me, right? I'm going to ask you a question. And you could type a 1 if I'm telling you the truth. Even though we were kicked off our land 1900 years ago, right? Can you see in your own family the effects of the colonization? Can you see in your own family the effects of slavery? Can you see that even now, which 1863, right? That was 200 years ago. And yet 200 years after the Emancipation Proclamation, we still see the effects of slavery. And I'm not asking you to go read about it. I'm talking about, do you look in your own family? Your family get-togethers, your 4th of Julys, your Christmases. Do you still see the effects of slavery? Yes, you still see it. But what happens is, and that's what, you know what that's called, right? Tell me if that makes sense. It's called generational curses. Isn't that right? So we're under generational curses. But when we awaken, and again, I'm going to ask you this question. As you have awakened to who you are as a bloodline Hebrew Israelite of Abraham, Yishak, and Yaakov, as you have awakened, you have also broken free of the effects of your colonization. In other words, the colonizers, they might celebrate Christmas. You're not interested. They might say, you know, what you're doing for Easter, you're not interested. You don't want nothing to do with their colonization no more, because now it's not affecting you. Whereas before, you get warm and fuzzy feelings about Christmas. You get nice feelings about them, you know, if you're a veteran, about 4th of July. But now you realize 4th of July wasn't no Independence Day for your people. And even Juneteenth is not Independence Day for us. Don't get it twisted. Juneteenth was when some of our brethren that were enslaved found out about the Northern victory over the South. Didn't know about it. Juneteenth is when they found out. Nobody was telling them before that. Northern soldiers had to come all the way to Texas to let them know, y'all free now. What? They didn't know. See? But when you realize who you are, When that light bulb goes off and you understand you're a Hebrew Israelite and you read 28 and you see Deuteronomy 28 and you see, this is my family. This is what happened to us. This is our system. My uncle is in jail. My cousin was killed by the police. We live in a hood. We had drugs. My cousin was on crack. My aunt stabbed her boyfriend. And you seeing it. And you are awakening to why that happened and what brought you there and why that was the situation. Now the colonization is broken. That's when you're the most dangerous to our enemies. More than a march. See, marching don't mean nothing. They're not worried about people marching. They're really not. Marching don't mean nothing. It's when we awaken. It's when the bands of the mind are broken. When the prison of the mind is broken, when the colonization is broken, they get very scared. See, this is the thing. Everything our enemies do that's drastic is, just think of this, it's because they are deathly afraid. When they come marching on January 6th with their Confederate flags and their Trump flags, that should just tell you they are so scared they're peeing on themselves. They're so scared. And their reaction to being scared is break out the guns and the Confederate flag and start talking about Civil War. That's their reaction. Their attack, that's how their reaction is. But when you start to awaken to who you are and the truth of who you are and how you got into a situation, why this is your enemy's land, the colonization don't matter anymore. See, part of your colonization and my colonization, seriously, is white Jesus. It's white Jesus. Because what goes with white Jesus? Christianity. What psychological effect, and I'm not a psychologist, but let me speak freely on this. The psychological effect of white Jesus is you start thinking that the so-called white man is better than you because God looks like him. Is that right? You start to think he's better than me. And he's sitting there telling you we're all the same while his people control the whole system you live in. How hypocritical is that? How hypocritical is that? We're all the same. I don't see color. Oh, except in the White House. Oh, except in Congress and the Senate. Oh, except in the police. Oh, except in Wall Street. That's the only place. Except at the heads of every major corporation. I don't see color. You must be blind then. How about willfully blind? But you see, brethren, they're really scared when you awaken. It ain't like you hit lotto and money. It ain't like you became a billionaire or you got an army. Just the awakening of your mind scares them to no end. Because you see, what did we read here? When we return to Yah, when it was said, when all these things come upon thee and you call them to mind and you return, what happens? Then Yahweh will turn thy captivity. See, when the Creator decides to do something for his people, there's absolutely nothing the enemy could do about it. See, the Egyptians didn't want our people leaving like that. They didn't. Until the day we was gone. And we was marching through the middle of the Red Sea, then they came, right? But there was nothing they could do to stop it. As soon as the Most High came to Moses and said, I'm coming down to deliver them, it was over. And he was using Pharaoh as an object lesson. I'm going to bring my glory out on Pharaoh. Well, brethren, nothing has changed. As we awaken and come back to the Father, he is going to deliver us and turn our captivity around. And our enemies are going to be and they're already doing it, making plans. That's what I'm saying. Don't ever concern yourself with a FEMA camp or alligator, whatever. If the Most High is with us and he has decided to deliver us, as his word says, there is nothing they could do about it. Our only concern is us forgetting Yah and forgetting his word and forgetting what he has done for us. That's the only problem. If we remember what he's done for us, how he has awakened us. If we're thankful, see, the Bible says he inhabits our praise. So if we are praising him, if we are thanking him for awakening us, if we are giving him thanks for the deliverance that we know he's bringing, there's nothing they could do about it, except try to silence the persons that are trying to bring you awakening. But you can't do that either, because if all of the human agents were silenced, the rocks would cry out. See, because the Father is never going to be stopped. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in the heavens. There is nothing, there is no power, there is no desire that can overcome the Father's expressed will. Nothing. That's why it makes no sense to try to front as if you're innocent when you're not. Try to justify yourself for what you did. It makes no sense. You heathen. You're not going to get over. Nobody gets over. Which brings us to today's lesson. Notice this. Let's go to Joel. Y'all know I've been to Joel before, and we're going to go to Joel right now. Joel. Joel chapter 3. Joel chapter 3. Verse 7. Notice what he says to the heathen. Verse 7. Joel chapter 3. Actually, 6 and 7. Joel chapter 3, verses 6 and 7. The children also of Judah and the children of Jerusalem have ye sold unto the Grecians, Grecians being Europeans, that ye might remove them far from their border. Behold, I will raise them out of the place whither ye have sold them, and return your recompense upon your own head. I will raise them out of the place you sold them, and return your recompense upon your own head. So what they have done to us is going to come back to them. Is that pretty clear? I mean, is that a little confusing, or is like black and white, straight up clear, right? I mean, that's not like, right? I mean, that's not hard to understand. There's some knucklehead out here, some heathen saying, I don't understand. Does he hate white people? You know what? You're going to have to get over it. I will return your recompense upon your own head. Let me give you another witness so you might get it a little clearer. Let's go to Psalms. Psalms 7. So I'm in Psalms now. Man, sometimes I really wish I had time. If I really had time, right? Seriously, I'm reading through the whole Bible as I tell y'all to do. I'm doing the whole thing every time. I'm trying to finish early this year, because if I could just spend my whole time reading Psalms and Proverbs, I'd be happy, man. I'm telling you. Them two, man. Psalms is beautiful. It's poetry on a level that nobody could do. It's poetry at the highest level, man. Really. But it's prophetic. It's powerful. And Proverbs too, man. Psalm 7. Oh, yeah. I'm going to start at verse 11, and I'm going to go down to verse 17. Psalm 7, from verse 11 to verse 17, especially verse 16. This is the theme we're on right now, because we're about to read that in Deuteronomy 30. But here, this is Psalm 7 from verse 11 to verse 17. The Most High judges the righteous. Check this out. The Most High judges the righteous, and the Most High is angry with the wicked every day. The Most High is angry with the wicked every day. If he turn not, he will whet his sword. He hath bent his bow and made it ready. He hath also prepared for him the instruments of death. He ordaineth his arrows against the persecutors. Behold, he travaileth with iniquity and hath conceived mischief and brought forth falsehood. He made a pit and digged it and is fallen into the ditch what he made. His mischief shall return upon his own head. The wicked's mischief shall return upon his own head. The one that sold Israel and Judah. And his violent dealing shall come down upon his own pate. Pate is head. I will praise Yahweh according to his righteousness and sing praise to the name of Yahweh Most High. So here's another one. So what the hole you're digging, the plans you're making to try to trap the Hebrews, you're going to fall in the same thing. It's going to come back on you. You're going to fall right into your own grave. And of course, what we've been quoting pretty much these whole weekend, one of them is Revelation 13, Revelation chapter 13. Revelation 13 and verse 10. I believe it's verse 10 I'm looking for. No. Yeah. Revelation 13:10. Yes, praise the Most High. Revelation 13:10. Here's your third witness. So what do we have? David, right? David was one. We're going to have Moses. We got John here, right? And Joel, right? So in the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, let every word be established. So this is Revelation 13:10. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. Wait. Question, brothers and sisters. Was the descendants of slaves led into captivity? That would be a very simple question, wouldn't it? Was the descendants of slaves, was our forefathers led into captivity? So what does this verse say? He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. So if we were led into captivity, then the question would be, who brought us into captivity? Because the people that brought us into captivity, they're going to go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. So have any of our people been killed with the sword or with guns? Had they killed us like that? Well then, brethren, he that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. Wait a minute, that brought my mind to another one. Wait a minute, Isaiah chapter 14. So what do we got? David, Joel, John, Isaiah chapter 14. I think we got a lot of witnesses here, don't we? Isaiah 14. I'm gonna read verse 1 and 2. Isaiah 14. For Yahweh will have mercy on Yaakov and will yet choose Israel. See how important it is for you to understand who Israel is today and who it's not? You see this promise, right? Yahweh will have mercy on Yaakov and will yet choose Yashar'al and set them in their own land. And the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Yaakov. Yeah, when they realize they behind is on the line, some of them are going to cleave to us. Yep. About a sixth of them. Verse 2, and the people shall take them and bring them to their place, and the house of Yashar'al shall possess them in the land of Yahweh for servants and handmaids, and shall take them captives, whose captives they were. So the people that brought us into captivity are going to be our captives. And how about that? And they shall rule over their oppressors. The people that have oppressed us, we're going to rule over them. The people that brought us into captivity, we're going to bring them into captivity. Look at this, man. I don't know. Y'all heathen You better pay attention now. This ain't good news. This ain't the gospel for y'all. This ain't good news. White Jesus ain't gonna help you. Matter of fact, white Jesus is coming on the white horse to help put y'all in captivity. You don't believe me? Wait, you want me to show you that in the word? That white Jesus is gonna put it ain't white Jesus, but Yahushua, the Messiah, he's gonna put y'all in captivity. You want me to show you? Oh, okay. Let me show you. Before we go back to Deuteronomy, let me show you. This is back to Revelation again. Well, nobody understands Revelation. You better speak for your Christian self. The Hebrews understand it. It was given to us. So we know what it's reading. We know how to read. We the Spirit give it to us. Y'all ain't got it. But it ain't for y'all. It's for the servants of Yah. Revelation chapter 19. Oh, let me show you. Revelation chapter 19. Beginning at verse 11, this is Messiah. And I told you he's going to put y'all in captivity, right? Watch now. Watch now. Revelation chapter 19, beginning at verse 11. And I'm going to go down to verse 20. Revelation 19, beginning at verse 11. And I'm going to go down to verse 20 for you. And I'm going to show you the Messiah, the white Jesus you think you love. He's going to put you in chains. Watch. And I saw heaven opened, and behold, a white horse. Only thing white you're going to see is the clothes and the horse. A white horse. And he that sat upon him was called Faithful and True. And in righteousness he doth judge and make war. That's Messiah. His eyes were as a flame of fire, and on his head were many crowns. And he had a name written that no man knew but he himself. And he was clothed with a vesture dipped in blood, and his name is called the Word of Yahweh. And the armies which were in heaven, us, followed him upon white horses, clothed in fine linen, white and clean. And out of his mouth goeth a sharp sword, that with it he should smite the nations, that is the Gentiles. And he shall rule them with a rod of iron. They like iron so much. And he treadeth the winepress of the fierceness and wrath of Almighty Shaddai, Al Shaddai. And he hath on his vesture and on his thigh a name written, King of Kings and Lord of Lords. That's because he's going to be king of this whole earth. There's going to be other kings, but he's the king of all the kings. Yeah. And I saw an angel standing in the sun, and he cried with a loud voice, saying to all the fowls that fly in the midst of heaven, come and gather yourselves together unto the supper of the great Most High, that ye may eat the flesh of kings, and the flesh of captains, and the flesh of mighty men, and the flesh of horses, and of them that sit on them, and the flesh of all men, both free and bond, small and great. Watch now. And I saw the beast, that is Christianity, and the kings of the earth, that is the leaders. You know, your Jeff Bezoses and all them. And their armies gathered together to make war against him that sat on the horse and on his armies. Now watch this. And the beast was taken. Look up the word taken. It means captured, like put into capture, captivity, capture. The beast was taken. And with him, the false prophet, that is the gall and wormwood, that brought miracles before him, with which he deceived them that received the mark of the beast and them that worship the image. These both were cast alive into a lake of fire burning with brimstone. I think y'all would probably be preferred for y'all, if you had a choice, to be our slaves than that. But it does say the beast was taken, captured, with him the false prophet. Ah, yeah. Y'all gonna go into captivity. And wait, who took him? The man on the white horse took him. The Messiah took him. See, you ain't got to worry about me. What you really have a problem with, honestly, is my cousin. And I ain't gonna say sorry for my cousin retaliating for what y'all did to my people. So you got a problem with my cousin. My cousin get ready to put some chains on you. He gonna make you our servants. Some of y'all gonna get over though. Because some of y'all, he gonna have your vine dressers for us and doing our farm work for us. And he gonna have y'all helping clean up the mess afterwards. Some of y'all. Some of y'all that's repenting now, that's coming to the Hebrews now with the truth of understanding who we are. He gonna let you hang out with us. You gonna be down with us. But some of y'all, well, some of y'all, get ready for them collars. You're gonna have a new collar, and ain't gonna be no Catholic collar either. You're gonna have your own metal collar. Some of y'all. He gonna put you all in captivity. Can you imagine? We love Jesus. Oh, do you? He gonna put the collar on you. Imagine that. Did I say that, or did the Bible say it? So somebody gonna say, there was this crazy man on YouTube. He said white people are gonna be slaves. Did I say that? Or did I read from the Bible? In the Bible say, he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. So all we need to do is ask. Let me ask you, Caucasian, so-called white people, have y'all ever led anybody into captivity? I just want to know, have y'all ever been responsible for anybody's captivity, like in your family's history? Does your family have a history of changing somebody's name to the name of your forefathers and making them worship your Christian God? And have you ever brought people into captivity? Because what we just read, the Bible says, if you led people into captivity, you will go into captivity. I didn't say that. I'm just reading what the Bible said. But then again, under your orange president, y'all seem to like to slay the messengers. Well, I'm good with that. Deuteronomy chapter 30, brethren. Let's start at verse 3 where we ended up. Deuteronomy chapter 30, starting at verse 3, and I'm going to read down to verse 6. And we're going to stop at that red light for a second and then keep going. Watch. This is Deuteronomy chapter 30 from verse 3 to 6. Then Yahweh thy Most High will turn thy captivity and have compassion upon thee, and will return and gather thee from all the nations whither Yahweh thy Most High have scattered thee. If any of thine be driven out unto the outmost parts of heaven, from thence will Yahweh thy Most High gather thee, and from thence will he fetch thee. And Yahweh thy Most High will bring thee into the land which thy fathers possessed, and thou shalt possess it. And he will do thee good and multiply thee above thy fathers. Wow. And Yahweh thy Most High will circumcise thine heart and the heart of thy seed, to love Yahweh thy Most High with all thy heart and with all thy soul, that thou mayest live. So he's going to put that blessing on us. We're going to have a love for the Father. We are never going to be scattered from him again. We will never be worshiping no other gods again. We're going to have his seal on us and his spirit. And as Messiah and the Father are one, so we will be one with them. Praise the Most High Yah, in righteousness and in truth forever and ever and ever. Then the disciples might ask the Master Yahweh Shah, wilt thou at this time restore the kingdom to Israel? And he's going to say, look, done, done, look, done. Praise the Most High. All right. Verse is exactly what he says, isn't it? And that's Revelation chapter 16. And the seventh angel poured out his vial, and I heard a voice from the sanctuary, from the throne, say, it is done. Praise the Most High. Oh, yes. Revelation says that. Now we're in Deuteronomy chapter 30, verse 7. This is our, let me see, David, Joel, Isaiah, John, that's 4, right? This will be our fifth witness, Moses. This is Deuteronomy chapter 30, verse 7. And Yahweh thy Most High will put all these curses upon thine enemies and on them that hate thee, which persecuted thee. Have the Europeans ever persecuted the people they got from Africa? Or am I imagining that? Did the Europeans ever try to persecute our people? Have they ever shown hatred toward us? You want to see the hatred real strong? Go back in them civil rights videos and look at when them people was going to go to that Little Rock, Arkansas high school, and look at the faces of them white folks when them 7 kids was trying to go to their school. The Little Rock Nine, I think it was, they were called the Little Rock Nine. When the Little Rock Nine was going to that high school, look at the faces of them Caucasians, because them are the grandparents of the Caucasians you hang out with every day. See now, they're the grandparents when they was in high school. And you see the demonic look on their faces. Or look at the one when they were bringing James Meredith to the University of Mississippi. Look at the faces of the white folks. Look how demonic they are. And you want to see, you thought, oh, that's a long time ago, man. You're talking about 50 years ago. That ain't what it is today. Okay, go look at the video from January 6th when they came in the Capitol. Look at that demonic look on their faces. That's January 6th, 2021. It ain't gone nowhere. It's the same thing. So he said, on them that hate thee, that's hate. But you're seeing when you see the Little Rock Nine, when you see James Meredith, when you see George Wallace standing in the University of Alabama, when you see them, when you see those pictures of them yelling and screaming and pointing at the hanging dead body they just lynched. And there's plenty of pictures like that. I should have put one of them up, but YouTube might have put it down. They did that to me before. So yeah, they don't want to see that. But look at their faces. Look at them celebrating. They were celebrating after they killed and burned one of us. Celebrating. Look at the faces on January 6th. Look at their faces. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying look at what they did. Just look at their face. Look at how demonic they looked. It's scary, man. They were under the control of the spirit of Asatan. That's what they look like. That's what it looked like. Okay, that's what it looked like. And so they want to tell you that's past, but we talk about 2021. They ain't past. It's today. That's modern. So you can go anytime you want to go. Anytime that a picture could be taken. And you can see it right there. And that shows, it said what? Them that hate thee, which persecuted thee. Yahweh will put all these curses upon thine enemies and on them that hate thee, which persecuted thee. See, they don't want to be exposed for who they really are. But I would think they would rather the exposure come from somebody like me than when it's too late. When Messiah's putting them chains on you. When it's too late. I think he would want it now, right? Rather than when it's too late. Too late is coming quick. Verse 8. And thou, that is us, shalt return and obey the voice of Yahweh and do all his commandments. This is Deuteronomy 30, verse 8. And do all of his commandments, which I command thee this day. Verse 9. Deuteronomy 30, verse 9. And Yahweh thy most high will make thee plenteous in every work of thy hand, in the fruit of thy body, and in the fruit of thy cattle, and in the fruit of thy land for good. For Yahweh will again rejoice over thee for good, as he rejoiced over thy fathers. If thou shalt hearken unto the voice of Yahweh thy most high, to keep his commandments and his statutes, which are written in this book of the law, and if thou turn unto Yahweh thy most high with all thy heart and with all thy soul, for this commandment, which I command thee this day, it is not hidden from thee, neither is it far off. It is not in heaven that thou shouldest say, who shall go up to heaven for us and bring it to us that we may hear it and do it? Neither is it beyond the sea that thou shouldest say, who shall go over the sea for us and bring it unto us, that we may hear it and do it? But the word is very nigh unto thee, in thy mouth and in thy heart, that thou mayest do it. You see, the word has to be in our heart for us to do it. And it comes in our heart by the Spirit of our Father. See, we do the work. The word is in your spirit. The word is in your heart, in your mouth. You live by the word. You breathe by the word. You exist by the word. And you exist by the Spirit of Him that is the origin of existence. Ahaya, I exist. Praise the Most High. Verse 15. See, I have set before thee this day life and good, and death and evil, in that I command thee this day to love Yahweh thy Most High, to walk in His ways, and to keep His commandments and His statutes and His judgments, that thou mayest live and multiply, and Yahweh thy Most High shall bless thee in the land whither thou goest to possess it. But if thine heart turn away, so that thou wilt not hear, but will be drawn away and worship other gods. You see, he keeps mentioning that. That's the most important commandment, y'all. The worship of other gods. See, we must recognize we serve only one God. It's the God that delivered our fathers from Egypt. It's the God of our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. That's the only God we serve. Anybody that has some religion, something, some belief system that's away from that is not our God. We need to recognize that. So any Christian God is not yours. Any Islamic God is not yours. Any Judaic God is not yours. Yours is the one that allowed you to go into captivity, delivering you from it by first awakening you, delivered your ancestors from Egypt, and gave only your people His covenant. Only your people His covenant. That's your God. Don't forget that. You're not the God of Easter, not the God of their Passover, of their Halloween, or their Yom Kippur. Ain't no Yom Kippur in the Bible. You know what Yom Kippur means? It means New Year. So wait. Let me ask you a question. Since when is the New Year in the 7th month? Can you please explain that to me? I thought a New Year came after 12 months, but they call the New Year in the 7th month. I know, right? It sounds stupid, right? Because it is. But it ain't us that's doing that. It's the Amalekites. The Amalekites are doing that. They call Yom Kippur the 7th month. Since when is the end of this year in the 7th month? Now, it's toward the end of the year. It's the latter half of the year for sure. But the 12th month is the end of the year, right? Not the 7th month. Anyway. Deuteronomy chapter 30. Verse 17 again. If thine heart turn away, so that thou will not hear, but shalt be drawn away and worship other gods and serve them, I denounce unto you this day that ye shall surely perish, and that ye shall not prolong your days in the land whither thou passest over Jordan to go to possess it. I call heaven and earth to record this day against you, that I have set before you life and death, blessing and cursing. Therefore, choose life, that both thou and thy seed may live. Choose life, that thou mayest love Yahweh thy Most High, and that thou mayest obey His voice, and that thou mayest cleave unto Him, for He is thy life and the length of thy days, that thou mayest dwell in the land which Yahweh sware unto thy fathers, to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob, to give them. That was chapter 30. That was Deuteronomy chapter 30. Praise the Most High. The chapter where the light bulb comes on. the chapter that tells us what's about to happen after the light bulb comes on. Praise the Most High. Praise the Most High. Yes, brethren. Amen. May the Most High bless you and keep you. May he cause his face to shine upon you. And may he lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. Shalom, family. Please keep praying for Weothesia. Keep praying for him, please. And for Brother Daniels, that he recover from the stroke that been afflicting him. Please remember them in prayer, brethren. Let's keep praying for each other. Shalom.